Welcome to a presentation on the theoretical study of ion pair SN2 reactions. I am Jalal Lalu from the University of Mauritius, where I am currently following my MPhil PhD course. Here is an overview of this presentation. There will be 6 parts to the introduction. SN2 or bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction forms part of the major types of reactions in chemistry and is present in organic, inorganic, and biological systems. For example, in the synthesis of these two acids, as well as in the synthesis of this anti-tumor drug. Why is it important to understand reactions? Studying reactions helps scientists to unveil their mechanism, allowing them control over these reactions, which has significant energetic and economic benefits. As Owing adds, and where better to look first than at nucleophilic substitution. SN2 reaction is characterized by double well potential energy surface. The nucleophile attacks the substrate. First, it pauses for a reactant complex before proceeding to form the transient state. Then it forms the product complex before forming the product. There are different types of potential energy surfaces and energetic barriers. This is for a thermoneutral reaction, while these two are for exothermic reactions. How do scientists know the mechanism of the reaction? Experimentally, they carry out rate studies, kinetic isotope studies, as well as mass spectrometry analysis. However, experiments are faced with constraints. Investigation at a micro scale is difficult, as well as studies in the gas phase. Often, there are competing reactions with SN2, for example, elimination reactions, and it is difficult to distinguish these reactions experimentally. Fortunately, theoretical studies have complemented experimental investigations as they do not suffer from these limitations. Furthermore, unfeasible reactions may be predicted, as well as further information, for example about the transient states, may be obtained. Simple models are used to study complex reactions. It is important to highlight that research in SN2 reactions is not new. Still, new findings are being made. This paper makes mention of non-traditional atomistic mechanisms. In another paper, they confirm unexpected experimental findings in contradiction to expectations. Here, the authors are surprised with their findings. In this paper, makes mention of unusual reaction path. Nevertheless, there are gaps in our understanding of SN2 reaction, especially in terms of solvent and nucleophiles. What is the effect of solvent on SN2 reaction? In the presence of protic or aprotic solvent, the double well potential energy surface gets converted into a unimodal one with a rise in the energetic barriers. Therefore, the solvent acts as a sort of barrier between the nucleophile and the substrate. In a recent study, in the presence of a metal cation, the nucleophile actually catalyzes the reaction. The solvent sort of strengthens the nucleophile. Ion pair nucleophiles, with implications in the ring opening of epoxides, are much less studied, although they are often the source of the anion. Ion pair nucleophiles, in contrast to bare anions, form cyclic transition states. Bare anions form non-cyclic transition states. In SN2 reaction, the nucleophile may attack the substrate from the front, leading to retention of configuration, or from the back, leading to an inversion of configuration. Interestingly, with ion pair nucleophiles, the front side attack and the back side attack may be competitive. F- has shown some anomalous behavior in the formation of hydrogen bonding complexes and proceeding with an exothermic barrier. LIF has shown a distinct preference for the front side attack. In my research work, I set out to investigate the reactions of these nucleophiles with CH3Cl substrate for both the front side attack and the back side attack in gas phase and THF solvents. The potential energy surface is then determined, which is further analyzed using activation strain model. The aims are to determine structural parameters as well as trends along ion pair nucleophiles, from the bare nucleophile to the ion pair nucleophiles, and from gas phase to solution. This is in an attempt to bridge the gaps in the understanding of SN2 reactions. How do I proceed? I optimize my reactants, products, transition states, reactant complexes, and product complexes using the OLIP 631++ GDP functional. To verify whether my transition state connect with my reactant complex and product complex, I carry out IRC computation. The points on the IRC are further analyzed using activation strain analysis. The activation strain model is a fragmented approach to understanding chemical reaction. It decomposes the energy of the system into the strain energy within the deformed substrates and the interaction energy between the incoming nucleophile and the substrate. To better understand activation strain analysis, let's consider the reaction of LIF with CH3Cl. A single point computation will give the energy of the system. Let's place CH3Cl in a boxing ring and consider CH3 and Cl as two opponents. Between CH3Cl there will be a sort of tension. Now, LIF nucleophile wants to help the CH3 and drive Cl- out. So between CH3 and LIF there will be an attraction. As LIF approaches CH3, the attraction, which is the interaction energy, will increase. Between the CH3Cl there is a strain energy. Consider only CH3Cl and remove the LIF fragment, I can compute the strain energy. Now I have the energy of the system, I subtract the strain energy, I will be left with interaction energy. The interplay between the strain energy and the interaction energy determines at what point the transition state is reached. Now we move on to the results. We find that in the gas phase, the double well potential energy surface become unimodal in THF. A pertinent result is the cyclic nature of the transition state. For MgFCl, the transition states are cyclic in gas phase and THF for both front side and back side attack. With ion pair nucleophile NEF, interestingly, the TS is non-cyclic in the backside attack, both in gas phase and THF, while for the frontside attack, it's cyclic. Kindly note that the backside reaction is favored for both reactions. With LIF nucleophile, the transition state is cyclic for both the frontside and backside attack, while in THF it's non-cyclic for the backside attack, and again the backside reaction is favored when the TS is non-cyclic. We also find that the energetic barriers in THF are usually higher than in gas phase, except for NAF and LIF in the backside, which are lower than in the gas phase. The questions which arise: why is the formation of a cyclic TS in the backside reaction not possible for these three systems? And also, why is it that the barrier is lower for NAF and LIF in THF than in the gas phase for the backside attack? Activation strain analysis helps to shed light on these results. We find that the strain energy is similar, while the interaction energy is different. So the nucleophilicity depends essentially on the interaction energy. We find that the interaction energy is initially destabilizing for both NAF and LIF, more so for LIF as the nucleophile approaches the substrate. This hints at a repulsive force between the positive center on the substrate and the incoming cation. NAF with a small charge density cannot overcome this repulsive force to bind with the leaving group. Li cation with a higher charge density seem to overcome this repulsive force to a greater extent, and Mg2 plus cation with the highest charge density succeed in forming the cyclic transition state in THF. The solvation effect is determined for an extended model of activation strain analysis. The additional stability provided by the solvent, which accounts for the lower barrier in the backside attack, is highlighted as we see that the solvent has a stabilizing effect throughout the reaction. Now for the conclusions. Studying reactions have significant economic and energetic benefits. The interplay between the strain energy and the interaction energy determines at which point the transition state is reached. Some solvents act as barrier to the reaction, while other solvent catalyzes the reaction. The presence of a non-cyclic transition state in the backside attack favors the backside attack over the frontside attack, which was rationalized using the activation strain model. This is for my future work. I would like to thank everyone who contributed to the realization of this presentation. I end with this quote: as the Internet of Things advances, the very notion of a clear dividing line between reality and virtual reality becomes blurred, sometimes in creative ways. Thank you for your kind attention. Please send your questions and feedback.